Welcome to Module 6, the first module after your midterm. In your midterm, we basically cover the noun system, including the first and second declension. But in Module 6, we'll be introducing for the first time a new family of nouns called the third declension nouns, affectionately known as declension apprehension. It's a fairly complicated group of nouns. There are 7 subtypes within this family. And with the third declension nouns, you'll actually be learning a completely new set of endings. So part of the challenge of learning third declension nouns is that it has a separate set of endings for the masculine, feminine, and neuter nouns in its family than the first and second declensions. So if you recall in chapter 5 in our introduction to nouns, while first declension nouns are feminine and are characterized by an alpha or eta, and second declension masculine and neuter nouns are characterized by an ah or omicron sounding vowel. So it could be omicron, omega, or the diphthong oo. The third declension the nouns are characterized by a consonant. And they have their own masculine, feminine, and neuter forms. So let's go over the new casings you have to learn for the third declension nouns. Now the masculine and feminine nouns share the same case ending. And the way I would learn these case endings is to say sigma, os, e, alpha or nu, s, own, si or sin, os, where si or sin is the same dative plural ending, but sometimes it has the movable nu and sometimes it doesn't. So let's go over again the masculine, feminine, new case endings that you'll learn. It's sigma, os, e, alpha or nu, s, own, si or sin, and os. And so these are, in fact, the nominative singular, the genitive singular, dative singular, accusative singular, the nominative plural, genitive plural, dative plural, and accusative plural endings. Now for the neuter nouns, they have a separate form. So while the masculine, feminine nouns in the third declension group share the same case endings, the neuter nouns have their own separate case endings. And the best way to kind of memorize this is to say that the nominative singular, it's nothing. So this line means there's nothing added to the stem. And that's part of how to form the nominative singular ending. So it's nothing, os, e, nothing, a, own, si or sin, and a. So once again, nothing, os, e, nothing, a, own, sin, and a. Now to help us understand how the third declension nouns are formed, we're going to use an extra tool called the square of stops. And the square of stops is actually a phonetic chart telling us how certain letters in the Greek alphabet are related to each other. And in the square of stops, there are 3 family of letters. There are the labials, and these are letters that use your lips when you pronounce the letter. So when you pronounce P, the letter P, or P, you'll notice that you pucker your lips together. So that P is, or the P sound, you'll notice that your lips come together. The velars is the family of letters where the sound mostly comes from your throat. So say the kappa, k, and you'll feel that in your throat, that's where the sound's coming from. And the dentals are those family of letters that your tongue strikes against your teeth in order to say the letters. So when we say tau, for example, t, and make this tau sound, you'll notice that your tongue scrapes against your teeth, and that's how the sounds are made. Now, P, kappa, and tau are what we call air stops. So try this exercise. Actually put in front of your mouth your hand. And as you say p, you'll feel a puff of air brush against your hand. So I know it might feel silly trying this, but do it yourself right now. Say puh, puh, puh. And I'll try the velar, the kappa. Say ka, ka, ka. And you'll feel a puff of air hit your hand. And then try the dental, tuh, tuh, tuh. And you'll feel that air go against your hand. And so these are called air stops. Now, other letters that are labials, velars, and dentals, but are unaired. That means you don't feel as much air as you pronounce the letter. For the labials, that's a beta. So if you were to try this, say buh in front of your hand. So put your hand in front of your mouth and go buh. You'll notice that the buh sound, there's less air than puh. If you say puh like in P. So say buh and you'll feel less air. And if you say puh, you'll feel more. So under this column, these are what we call unaired stops. They have less air is used, produce a similar sound. And you can see how puh and buh are similar sounds. They're sounds that are made by your lips and therefore part of the labial family. For the velars, the unaired stop is gamma. So say guh, guh, guh. And then for the dentals, the unaired stop is a delta. And say duh, duh. And you notice that beta, gamma, and delta require less air to pronounce. So let's try it again. Let's just pronounce the sound. Buh, buh, guh, guh, and duh, duh. Now, also a part of the labials, velars, and dentals are what we call aspirates. And aspirates are those sounds that have an H-sounding letter in it, an H-sounding letter. So, for example, the aspirate for the labials is phi, phi. And if you say f, you can hear that H-sounding letter in phi. And for the velars, the aspirate is he, he. That's not a good he. Let me try this again. He, that's a much better he. There we go. He. And when and then again, that's the velar with an H sounding letter built into its sound. And for the dentals, you guessed it, it's theta or th. So let's say these letters. So you have for the phi, it's f, then h for the he, and then th for the theta. Now the fricatives are those letters that have an S sounding component to its pronunciation. So an S sounding component. So for the labials, the fricatives are psi, psi, psi. So if you hear that p sound and that S to it, psi, psi. For the velars, the S sounding letter is kasi. So I'm going to write the kasi. There we go, the kasi. And then the dentals don't really have an infricative sound, and so what happens is the sigma substitutes for the S sounding letter for the dental family. So the dentals use the sigma for their fricative. So together, this is called the square of stops. And I can't emphasize enough that you need to memorize this chart, because you will not only use this to learn the third declension nouns, but you revisit this chart over and over again with other parts of speech. You'll use it when you learn verbs, for example, and you'll use all aspects of the chart